Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Xian Kongzi's words had just sounded when a white-robed figure slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. His gaze swept over Xiao Yan's group before pausing on old Mu Jiyu. After which, he faintly said, "The old me is the first elder of the Pill Tower, Xiao Ling. I will be leading all of you into the star region this time around. Remember, all you need to do is follow me after entering. The old me has the right to revoke the right of anyone who does not follow the rules." Xiao Yan and the others slightly nodded upon hearing his words. He clearly understood in his heart that First Elder Xiao Ling was leading them, because Xian Kongzi's group was worried about old Mu Jiyu. The corner of old Mu Gu's mouth moved under the focus of Xiao Ling immediately. He withdrew his hands under his sleeves. His expression was indifferent. While the few of them spoke, the fluctuating spatial door had fully stabilized. "Let's go." Xiao Ling exchanged glances with Xian Kongzi's group upon seeing this. After which, he slightly nodded. Xiao Ling waved his hand and took the lead to step into the spatial door, before disappearing in the blink of an eye. Xiao Yang and the others hurriedly followed. Numerous figures continuously disappeared into this fluctuating space. Within less than a minute, 11 people had disappeared in front of a countless number of gazes. When the last person entered the spatial door, the sternness on Xian Kongzi's face was slightly reduced. His eyes looked down from above before he commanded in a deep voice, "Pay more attention today. Do not allow any trouble to occur. The experts from the Pill Tower have been arranged by us to be in Holy Pill City. They are awaiting orders. If any unexpected changes occur, they will immediately come and lend a hand." Tian Leizi nodded as he replied. There are still some experts that have good relationships with the Pill Tower currently in Holy Pill City. I will dispatch someone to inform them to help us keep an eye on things, Xian Yi softly informed them. Xian Kongzi only nodded upon hearing her words. His eyes looked at the large spatial door and sighed. Hopefully everything will be smooth. The empty space suddenly fluctuated. Immediately, 10+ figures slowly appeared. Xiao Yang immediately felt a hot vapor rushing to him when he appeared. At the same time, the glazed lotus heart flame within his body suddenly became hot at this moment. This kind of situation caused his heart to beat faster. It was a situation that only occurred when he met other heavenly flames. This place is indeed where the 3000 burning flame is located. Xiao Yang softly muttered to himself within his heart. His eyes suddenly glanced at old Mu Jiyu only to see that his eyes also had a heated expression. Clearly, the sea heart flame within his body had also sensed this change. Xiao Yang swiftly shifted his gaze from old Mu Jiyu and began to observe this so-called star region. Due to him having anxiously rushed in last time, he did not have much time to pay attention. The so-called star region was a space that had been forcefully torn open by the 3 giant heads of the Pill Tower. This kind of space was naturally unable to compare with the Pill Realm, or the Jiyu Realm, since those were unique places. Moreover, the star region appeared quite desolate. The faint hot fog that permeated around the region released a somewhat weak light that seeped into this space, causing the light here to appear quite cool. Xiao Yang's hand randomly grabbed at the weak light. The area that his hand came into contact with was ice cold. His eyes narrowed. This is the light of the stars. This star region is not able to prevent the strength of the stars from seeping through it. However, daytime is when the strength of the stars is at its weakest. Therefore, we can only choose to enter at this time, the first elder called Xiao Ling explained in a faint voice at this moment. Xiao Yang and the others came to a sudden understanding upon hearing this. The 3000 burning flame was said to be the fire of the stars. It was born from agglomerating the strength of the stars. As long as there were enough stars, it would never die. There was seldom any time that the strength of the stars completely disappeared from the world, because the strength of the stars existed even during the day. However, it was just comparatively weaker. Follow me. Don't get lost. This star region exists within the spatial tear. There are some places within it that are connected to the void. If you end up barging in, all of you should understand the results. Xiao Ling waved his hand. His body moved, and he swiftly rushed forward. Xiao Yang and the rest behind hurriedly followed. The size of the star region was unable to compare with the Pill Realm. However, that was relatively speaking. Based on Xiao Yang's guess, this place would likely not be smaller than the incomparably large Holy Pill City. They were unable to see any edges despite having flown for over 10 minutes. From this, it was possible to gain some clues as to its size. Although he was still unable to see their target despite flying for so long, Xiao Yan's group could clearly sense the surrounding temperature grow warmer. In the end, Songqing and the rest had no choice but to summon their Do Qi in order to resist the grilling of the high temperature. This kind of temperature did not cause Xiao Yan any discomfort. He possessed the protection of a heavenly flame. Therefore, his ability to resist fire was far from what an ordinary person could compare with. The entire group swiftly flew through this empty space. This continued for around 10 more minutes. After the second 10 minutes had passed, everyone present, with the exception of Xiao Yang, First Elder, Old Mujiyu, and Old Demon Qinghua, had to use their powerful Do Qi to protect their bodies. The temperature of this place had already reached quite a high one. It seems that we are about to arrive. Xiao Yang glanced at the rest while he flew. A thought suddenly passed through his heart as his gaze shot into the distance in front of him. The glazed lotus heart flame within his body had suddenly churned at this moment. This was the first time in all these years that it had shown such a reaction. While Xiao Yang had sensed something, a glow was suddenly emitted on the face of Old Mujiyu. Old Mujiyu licked his lips. His face was filled with desire and greed. Although the other people had not sensed the heavenly flame, they were still able to sense the surrounding temperature sudden increase. They understood in their hearts that they were about to arrive at their destination. While a caution had risen in everyone's hearts, a hot, intense glow suddenly appeared in the distant empty space. The intensity of the light appeared like a bright sun, causing one's eyes to involuntarily feel a piercing pain. We have arrived. All of you should be careful. Remember, if anyone does something out of line, the old me has the right to kill him here and now. The body of the leading Qiao Ling suddenly paused for a moment. He turned his head and his sharp eyes swept over everyone. Finally, they landed on Old Mujiyu as he coldly spoke. Only after saying these words did Qiao Ling slow down and slowly drifted to the area in front of him. Xiao Yang and the others swiftly followed behind him. Upon their gradual approach to the cluster of glaring light, the being within the light clearly appeared within their sight. The expressions of Xiao Yang's group became dull when they clearly saw the interior of the light. Their throats moved as they swallowed a mouthful of saliva with much difficulty. A completely shocked expression filled their eyes. There was an enormous dragon that stretched on endlessly within the light. The large dragon's eyes were shut. Its body was curled as it lay on the ground. Strange purple-black flames lingered all over its huge body. When the flames rose, the surrounding space distorted. The enormous dragon lay within this vast empty space. Purple-black flames continued to seep out of its body, burning tirelessly. This kind of spectacular scene caused one to feel a shock that was difficult to hide. Although Xiao Yang had already seen it once during his spiritual tour back then, he had only gotten a hurried glance. Only after having approached did he clearly sense just how frightening this ancient wonder was. Everyone appeared just like ants when standing in front of this large dragon. A feeling of being tiny rose within their hearts. Is this that 3,000 burning flame? A person's voice softly muttered amid the silence. Although the large dragon's eyes were shut, its rich dragon's might caused everyone's legs to have the impulse to tremble. This kind of size was really too shocking. Old Mujiyu was also shocked by the size of the 3,000 burning flame for a moment. However, he was at the very least an elite dozun and a tier 8 alchemist. His experience was extraordinary. Hence, he managed to swiftly recover. The greed in his eyes became denser. After the first person opened his mouth to speak, the others gradually recovered from their shock. They looked at each other and quietly felt speechless. This thing was really a little too frightening. Xiao Yang looked at this large dragon in front of him. His palm suddenly became heated. At that moment, a thought passed through his mind and his eyes glanced over without leaving a trace. He discovered the dragon seal that Ziyang had planted was beginning to show signs of heating up at this moment. Looks like what Ziyang has said is true. A dragon seal has been also planted within the body of this 3,000 burning flame. A thought passed through Xiao Yang's heart when he sensed the change in the dragon seal. This is the 3,000 burning flame. However, it is currently being sealed. Next, all of you should step forward and try to see if you can use some gentle tactics to subdue it. Qiao Ling spoke in a deep voice. Remember, use gentle tactics. Do not wake it from its slumber. Xiao Ling's eyes were filled with a chill when he spoke. His gaze focused on old Mu Jiyu. From the looks of it, he was cautious and disliked old Mu Jiyu. Old Mu Jiyu merely gave a cold smile in the face of Xiao Ling's eyes, but he did not say anything to refute the first elder. Xiao Ling slowly withdrew his eyes when he saw old Mu Gu's noncommittal response. After which, his eyes gently turned to Xiao Yang as he said, Xiao Yang, you are the champion of this pill gathering. Therefore, you should be first. Everyone's eyes gathered on Xiao Yang after Xiao Ling's words sounded. Xiao Yang's expression did not change in the face of these gazes. He hesitated for a moment before slightly nodding. After which, he inhaled a deep breath of air and slowly walked toward the large, slumbering dragon. That dragon's might grew stronger as Xiao Yang's feet gradually approached the large dragon. There was a vague trace of Xiao Yang's legs weakening where it seemed he was about to fall to his knees. Xiao Yang slightly knit his brows when he sensed this change. This 3,000 burning flame was indeed strange. Could it be that it has always treated itself as an ancient void dragon? This thought flashed across Xiao Yang's heart as he quietly became cautious. From the looks of the aura on it, this 3,000 burning flame was far from what the fallen heart flame could compare with. If he was careless, he might end up falling in the most unexpected place. At that time, it would be too late for him to feel regret. Xiao Yang finally arrived in front of the large dragon a moment later, as the hot eyes from everyone looked on. His body was suspended by the head of the dragon. Looking from a distance, he was insignificant when compared to the enormous body of the 3,000 burning flame. Upon encountering the 3,000 burning flame at such close proximity, Xiao Yang truly sensed the deterrence that this large fellow emitted. If one were to talk about size, it was likely that Xiao Yang's height was similar to just the length of a dragon scale on its body. Xiao Yang stood in front of the enormous dragon head. Although this 3,000 burning flame's eyes were tightly shut, Xiao Yang's heart felt a strange feeling. It appeared as though this large fellow in front of him was using a kind of icy-cold gaze to observe him. This kind of feeling caused Xiao Yang's hairs to stand. He hurriedly focused his mind. Xiao Yang, place your hand on the forehead of the 3,000 burning flame. There is a dragon scale there covered by a purple-black flame. After which, insert your spiritual strength into it. If you are lucky, you might be able to subdue it. Xiao Ling's voice suddenly sounded behind Xiao Yang, while he was quietly feeling surprised in his heart. Xiao Yang involuntarily let out a bitter smile when he heard Xiao Ling's instructions. How could it be so easy to subdue this 3,000 burning flame? Although Xiao Yang thought this in his heart, Xiao Yang stepped forward as he was told. After which, he found the dragon scale that was his size. A flame was indeed burning over it. Xiao Yang's eyes swept over this dragon scale. He suddenly discovered that these dragon scales seemed to be covered with many spiderweb-like black lines. These black lines intertwined and formed numerous extremely mysterious symbols that tightly adhered to the dragon scale. It appeared just like an incomparably large black web that wrapped around the 3,000 burning flame. This is a seal. The corner of Xiao Yang's eyes twitched when he saw these black symbols. His eyes swiftly slid to the other dragon scales, and did indeed see some of the other dragon scales were covered with these kinds of symbols made up of black lines. Immediately, he came to a sudden understanding in his heart. These should be the seals that Xian Kongzi's trio had joined hands to place. What a powerful sealing strength. It is many times stronger than the fallen heart flame seal in the inner academy back then. Xiao Yang involuntarily felt speechless when he sensed the great strength of the seal. He did not dare to delay any longer. He took a step forward, and his hand gently touched the dragon scale the flame was lingering over. There was surprisingly not the least amount of warmth on his hand upon contact. Instead, there was a faint chill. However, Xiao Yang did not have any time to feel doubtful at this moment. His eyes were shut and the spiritual strength from between his brows carefully followed his arm and penetrated the dragon scale. The spiritual strength had just entered the dragon scale when Xiao Ling, Cao Ying, old Mu Jiyu, and the others in the distance threw their gazes over. Bang! A slight sound was suddenly emitted when Xiao Yang inserted his spiritual strength into the dragon scale. Immediately, Xiao Yang's soul seemed to have been able to break through a layer as he appeared in a strange, empty place. Black-colored flames permeated this empty space. There was a miniature dragon in the center of the flames. However, at this moment, this small fire dragon was curled up with its eyes shut, appearing as though it was in slumber. When he saw this little fire dragon with its eyes shut, Xiao Yan was aware that this thing was the essence flame of the 3000 burning flame. Although Xiao Yan clearly understood that it was extremely difficult to obtain, this did not hinder the heated expression that appeared in Xiao Yan's eyes. The thing that he had dreamed of had finally appeared in front of him. Who? Xiao Yan inhaled a deep breath. He suppressed the excitement within his heart. The trace of spiritual strength belonging to Xiao Yan was slowly scattered. After which, it flew toward the small fire dragon, before lingering over its body in a gentle manner. The spiritual strength continuously emitted a warm, friendly message. Although this kind of method appeared quite childish from Xiao Yan's point of view, he really did not possess any other solution at this moment. After this friendly message was emitted for a moment, Xiao Yan was speechless to discover that there was not even a response. This kind of method really doesn't work. Xiao Yan helplessly shook his head in his heart. He was just about to withdraw his spiritual strength when he suddenly discovered that the small fire dragon, which had been keeping its eyes shut, suddenly opened them at this instant. Its eyes, which were filled with a purple-black flame, contained an icy chill as it stared at Xiao Yan's soul. All the pores on Xiao Yan's body opened at this moment. The skin on his head felt a little numb. This 3000 burning flames essence fire was really not slumbering. Foolish human. That fire dragon suddenly spat out some icy-cold human words while Xiao Yan's hairs stood erect. The voice was filled with ridicule. This 3000 burning flame is able to speak the human tongue. The corner of Xiao Yan's mouth immediately twitched when he heard its words. The fallen heart flame from back then had appeared quite extraordinary to him. It was unexpected that this 3000 burning flame was even greater. It had used the human language and even knew how to mock others. This the demon would really form in anything that lived long enough. That, I have come here with the intention to rescue you and allow you to gain freedom. Xiao Yan felt that he was an extreme hypocrite when he uttered these words. He was so much of a hypocrite that even his hairs appeared to stand up even more. Get lost. The mocking expression within the eyes of the 3000 burning flame became even denser in the face of Xiao Yan's touching words. At this moment, it did not utter any other nonsense. 2 icy-cold words were emitted. Before Xiao Yan could say anything after the words sounded, the purple-black flame suddenly surged out of the body of the fire dragon. After which, it swept toward Xiao Yan in all directions. Xiao Yan's expression changed when he saw that this large fellow attacked as it pleased. He knew that he was definitely no match for the 3000 burning flame. Immediately, his wisp of spiritual strength began to hurriedly dodge and retreat. Xiao Yan withdrew very quickly, but the purple-black flame was even faster. After a mere flash, it had already caught up to Xiao Yan. With a sweep, it swallowed Xiao Yan's soul into the flame. After which, it was vaporized into nothing. Xiao Yan, who was touching that dragon scale with his hand in the star region, suddenly opened his eyes. He withdrew his hand as though he had been electrocuted. His heart felt a lingering fear as he quickly withdrew. This 3000 burning flame was a little too abnormally strong. It had vaporized his wisp of a soul. Xiao Yan ruthlessly cursed within his heart. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead before turning his eyes to Qiuling and the others. He spread his hands and said, I have failed. That fellow is too fierce. Disappointment flashed across Qiuling's eyes when he heard this. He nodded and sighed, in that case, the next person should step forward. Old Mu Jiyu swiftly stepped forward after Qiuling spoke. A chill flashed across Qiuling's eyes when he saw who moved. He strode forward and blocked him. Cuckoo, why? Does First Elder Qiuling not intend to allow me to give it entry? Looks like this so-called qualification from the pill gathering entirely relies on the whims of the pill tower. Old Mu Jiyu narrowed his eyes and coldly laughed when he saw Qiuling move. Mu Jiyu, I advise you to not play any tricks. Otherwise, Qiuling's tone was cold when he spoke. If I am able to subdue the 3000 burning flame, it will also help your pill tower get rid of a great calamity, would it not? Old Mu Jiyu smiled. After which, he sidestepped Qiuling and slowly walked to the 3000 burning flame. The hand of Qiuling was slightly clenched. Immediately, his eyes slid to Xiao Yan, and he threw a look to Cao Ying's group, forcing them to pay more attention. After which, he turned around and followed beside old Mu Jiyu like a shadow. A majestic Do Chi lingered around him without any signs of being hidden. From the looks of it, Xiao Ling would immediately act should old Mu Jiyu make any unusual movements. The corner of old Mu Gu's mouth contained a cold smile in the face of being watched by Xiao Ling. His hand touched the dragon's scale before he shut his eyes. When old Mu Jiyu shut his eyes, Xiao Yang, Cao Ying, and the others also gathered their Do Chi. If the former were to perform any tricks, it was likely that it would involve them. The expected unusual activity did not appear in front of everyone's cautious eyes. That old Mu Jiyu suddenly opened his eyes after shutting them for around 10 minutes. He immediately took 2 steps back. He slightly frowned as he cursed. Xiao Ling finally sighed in relief after seeing old Mu Jiyu also step back in failure, and that the 3000 burning flame, which was in a slumber, did not show any unusual activity. After which he spoke in a deep voice, next. During the subsequent period of time, all the remaining people stepped forward one after another. However, everyone eventually returned after experiencing a miserable failure. Some of the weaker ones among them were even shaken to the point of spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood onto the dragon's head. Xiao Ling by the side quietly sighed when the final person returned empty-handed. His eyes displayed a disappointment that could not be hidden. Since no one can subdue it, let's return. Xiao Ling waved his hand and helplessly spoke. While Xiao Ling was waving his hand, Xiao Yang suddenly saw the corner of old Mu Gu's mouth slowly lift into a strange smile. His heart immediately tensed up. TSK, Xiao Ling, you will never be able to subdue the 3000 burning flame like this. Allow the old me to give you a good performance. This unusual laugh caused the expressions of everyone present to abruptly change. Xiao Ling's expression became gloomy when the strange laugh resounded over the region. He did not even pause for a moment as he waved his sleeves. A vast and mighty Do Chi pillar emitted a kai sound as it tore through space and rushed toward the spot where old Mu Jiyu was at. The vast and mighty Do Chi pillar did not strike old Migu. He flashed and withdrew in an extremely agile manner. After which, his hands suddenly formed numerous hand seals while he withdrew. Following the formation of these hand seals, Xiao Yang's group suddenly discovered the dragon seal on the 3000 burning flames' foreheads suddenly echo and emit a slight energy fluctuation. This is bad. The hearts of Xiao Yang's group felt shock upon sensing this situation. Old Mu Jiyu, how dare you? Xiao Ling's expression also changed at this moment as he furiously cried out. There is nothing in this world that the old me does not dare do. Old Mu Jiyu let out a cold laugh in the face of Xiao Ling's cry. His rapidly changing hand seals suddenly stiffened, while that strange smile on his face spread. Relax, the old me is only trying to help your pill tower resolve this trouble. Explode. A cold cry was suddenly emitted from old Mu Gu's mouth after he yelled out. Bang. The clear sound of an explosion suddenly materialized, without any forewarning, after old Mu Gu's cry sounded. The eyes of Xiao Yang's group immediately turned to the 3000 burning flame when this explosion sounded. After which, they saw a dragon scale on the forehead of the 3000 burning flame, not protected by any flames, explode at this moment. With the dragon scale bursting apart, Xiao Yang's group was shocked to discover that the large-sized dragon was slowly opening its tightly shut, huge dragon eyes. Clearly, some opening had appeared in the perfect seal at this moment. The 3000 burning flame has awoken. An exclamation sounded when everyone saw the large dragon gradually opening its dragon eyes. Immediately, it stirred a commotion. The large dragon slowly opened its eyes. A moment later, an ice-cold air surged out. This 3000 burning flames' eyes swept over Xiao Yang's group, before it suddenly let out an earth-shaking dragon roar into the sky. Bang! The moment that dragon roar sounded, the purple-black flame on the body of the 3000 burning flame suddenly soared. It appeared just like the flame of blazing skies as it covered this empty space. The purple-black flame surged and an unusual luster erupted from the densely packed black symbols on the body of the 3000 burning flame. They appeared just like a web that had firmly entwined itself around the 3000 burning flame. Roar! The 3000 burning flame struggled with all its might. Its roar resonated throughout the star region. Purple-black flames wildly seared the symbols made of black lines. Moreover, there was a continuous cool star strength seeping into this empty space, before pouring into the enormous body of the 3000 burning flame in an endless manner. Faced with this all-out retaliation from the 3,000 burning flame, after being quiet for such a long time, even the black symbols appeared to be humbled at this moment. Some symbols had become much dimmer, as the purple-black flame wildly burned. Mu Jiyu, you are seeking death. The sudden awakening of the 3,000 burning flame had also exceeded Xiao Ling's expectations. By the time he had recovered, his face had already been covered by a furious green expression. An angry roar carried an endless amount of fury and killing intent as it rushed toward old Mu Jiyu. TSK, since your pill tower is unable to deal with this heavenly flame, what is the point of keeping it? Why don't you allow my Hall of Souls to help you enjoy it? Would that not be better? Old Mu Gu's expression slightly changed when Xiao Ling rushed over with killing intent covering his entire body. Soon after, old Mu Jiyu began to coldly laugh. Xiao Yan, all of you should break the jade beads and inform the association head. However, Xiao Ling still retained some reasoning despite his fury. He did not forget to cry out loud while he charged toward old Mu Jiyu. Xiao Yang, Cao Ying, and the rest hurriedly nodded upon hearing Xiao Ling's cry. They took out the information-transmitting jade beads from their storage rings. They were just about to shatter them when a sharp wind suddenly appeared. After which, the wind transformed into fine needles that trickily struck the jade beads. Due to this attack being too sudden, the jade beads in the hands of Cao Ying and the others shot out of their hands and flew into the distance. Xiao Yang let out a cold snort. Two of his fingers clamped down with lightning-like speed. After which, they steadily received those fine needles. The other hand of his shattered the jade bead. After which, he turned in the direction the wind had come from. The ones who had attacked were two competitors that had gotten into the top 10 spots. It is unexpected that there are still members of the Hall of Souls. Xiao Yang involuntarily let out a cold laugh upon seeing these two people. He had underestimated the strength of the Hall of Souls. There were others who had entered the top 10 other than old Mu Jiyu. The number of people who had qualified was comparable to that of the pill tower. So what if you have sent a message? The 3,000 burning flame is struggling with all its might. The three great heads will definitely be unable to split their attention in order to maintain the seal of the star region. Moreover, Holy Pill City is extremely chaotic. The experts from the pill tower will not be able to free themselves. A middle-aged man with a shady face laughed. Looks like the Hall of Souls has meticulously planned its actions today. Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. After hearing these words, it seemed that some experts from the Hall of Souls had stirred some trouble within Holy Pill City. This would delay quite a number of experts from the pill tower. The 3,000 burning flame was the best thing to hold back the three great heads. Part 1 end here.